So much to say for this phase, but I only got 15 minutes, so I'll try to be concise and share some of the opinions and ideas we're working on. So I'm the co-founder at Rarimo Labs, and we're focused on working on this interoperability aspects and overall within the social identity in a broader sense. So it's everything that has to do with the regulated KYC type, or more like interactions and digital interactions on social graphs, and etc. What we're enhancing and working on decentralized protocol, it's called the Rarimo. So it is a protocol that allows the cross-chain interactions or off-chain to on-chain interactions for exactly this identity and social components across the chain. And I'm pretty sure you'll have the question, like the first question, and I get usually is that like, man, when we don't have anything, like from an identity perspective or usage perspective, what we have to talk about interoperability of things. Why? We're not there yet. So this is something that everybody imagines in 50 years time, or like, I don't know, like 20 years times after we have some kind of digital identity. But I don't share that vision, and 2 words. So I was actually part of the team that exactly 14 years ago put an NFC chip into a government identity and integrated the digital signatures and tried to build out the ecosystem alongside with other players. You had like the standardization, which is like one aspect of like the digital signature that was happening. But what happened within the industry and overall, what we see as a kind of natural evolution of the competition sometimes emerging in a different form of the identifiers, is that the system gets fragmented and locked up. And if we're not cautious enough and from day one think about the interoperability aspect and how most notable thing, I think like I don't like the word interoperability because it does not really explain from a user experience perspective what we're talking about. So I use a lot the portability. So it's an ability which is like more feelable to a user. That means that you can unplug certain thing and plug in and bring into another app, another ecosystem, another like state, government, or whatever organization that could be. And beside the like all these years going back and forward, like with this innovations, technical thing, I have this like an internal voice that the components around the digital identity that we all heard about and we were promised, it's kind of coming together. And these are like the factors such as like the ownership and self-sovereign identity standards and being like widely used. We have the privacy in the form of the ZKPs that have emerged, and now like everyone during the conferences you see like putting this tag right for every solution there. And then there is this portability aspect, which I think like mega important from day one, and this is something we're working on. And considering those 2 components and ingredients, we can say that the reality when digital and social identity becomes a natural thing to use in an everyday life, it's getting really closer. So with Polygon ID, what we're going to demonstrate actually now is the ability to use the Polygon ID ZK proofs on Ethereum mainnet, use the Polygon chain as a single source of truth from the identity state perspective. And what's most notable and the challenging part is like try to keep the gas costs and synchronization and update of states relatively low compared to all the other solutions that exist.
Would you recording the screen? I was recording the screen.
Now we are.
The presentation is perfect.
Now we are. Yeah. I better run a quick demo like this, but this is already on a production level. So in the end, I will share the documentation where you can access and basically run yourself. What happens here is that, so you see my phone generating a credential of an age credential. They issue to a Polygon ID wallet. And then on a web app, we're waiting for the proof to be generated. So we scan for the ZKP to be generated. And once we have a proof, now we're going to submit it into an Ethereum network. We submit the proof basically by signing the MetaMask. And we just wait for the transaction to be confirmed. As you can see, the transaction has been confirmed here, and as a demo purposes, we're issuing an SBT in the form of like celebration of a Polygon ID moving into an Ethereum network. You can check the transaction that is valid, and the ZKP has been submitted on Ethereum network. So this demo is already available, but I just want to like quickly give you a look of what's happening in the back, because you have like two parallel things that need to work for the proof to be submitted. And first one is, of course, is the state replication. So how do we replicate the state in the most cost-effective way behind the curtains? And the flow is such that identity provider, whenever updates the state or submits the state, and the state smart contract on Polygon, so the Rarimo is a decentralized protocol, oracles are watching and fetching the states, and they're just replicating the entire node into a blockchain of Rarimo chain. Verify that, fetches the states through the Rarimo relayer, and it is this function, we call it like on-demand state replication, and this is like important because you don't need to replicate all across the chains, but basically based on the request of a verified DApp, the state could be replicated on demand on the destination chain. And whenever the state update is requested, so Rarimo protocol runs an external validator network that generates a threshold signature. So with one single signature plus the state is provided to a state smart contract in Ethereum, and this is the moment. So we kind of like lower the gas cost first by allowing the on-demand state replication, and second by generating the threshold signatures to be submitted into a destination chain. And from the user flow, this is like what I demonstrated actually from a user experience perspective. So whenever the QR code was scanned, we generated this ZKP that was submitted into a verified smart contract on Ethereum. And in parallel, the first thing that needs to happen is the state replication. So the identity state has been like fetched by the state contract on Ethereum, and the SBT was minted automatically and given to the user. The docs are already available, so we're still making it like bulletproof to make sure that like the full production capacity could be like pulled straight away, but that's something that you can scan, see, experiment. Currently it runs between Polygon and ETH, but over the next few weeks we will gradually expand to all the EVM chains. And I think it is important because the portability and the ability to take your credentials and proofs and all these technology pieces working together is what's going to create something like really attractive and important to an end user. And we should not build with limitations in mind, but like uniting all those components, we will create the network effect that will really bring the base we've all been talking to and waiting. So that's it. Thank you. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Yes.
So in this scheme, you suppose that it's user who pay for publishing it, but do you anticipate
Yes.
future
Yeah.
subsidizing it by platform?
Yes. It's actually like pretty modular, like in Dan's case. So you can like either put it on a relayer or a verifier or a user. So it's up to the logic that you want to run.
Thank you.
And plus, on top of it, I'll just add as a flavor. So we run on Rarimo protocol. We built out token agnostic payments. That means that we imagine the multi-chain future where user is not only constrained by one single ecosystem, but is able to use whatever token they hold for the gas payment or the cost and etc. And these two products interchangeably is something that exponentially will improve the user experience in the end, and that's what we believe.
Credential liquidity.
Kind of. I love portability more, but it's of course up to the community, whatever they want.
Is it possible to pay fees for the replication of state on the chain where this credential is used, like on a Ethereum mainnet or maybe on Polygon? Like, I mean, you have your own chain, right?
Yes.
So is it possible to pay fees on
Yes.
chain?
On a destination chain,
Okay.
directly. So. And it's, yeah, I won't go into detail. But you know a lot about it.
What's your business model? You also charge for transactions in your chain, or what's your business
No,
model?
it's like what I showcased here is a fully decentralized model. So business model runs like any other decentralized chain, the validator rewards and the gas fee cost. So we, as an implementation, it's like an open technology. I just showcased the user-facing that how it should look like. But this is not our primary business. So this is something we expect the verifiers and dApps and the issuers to be using under the hood.
Okay, so I think, thank you very much, Tasha. Any questions from them?